A Step into the Past Volume 16 Chapter 9. Book 16 Chapter 09, The Villain is Taught a Lesson. After Xiang Shaolong and his party dragged away Lord Chunchen's gang of 3, the remaining family warriors within Lord Chunchen's residence gushed out in full strength. Who would have known that the moment they stepped onto the street, they were ambushed by Li Yuan's family warriors hiding with bows on the rooftops on either side of the street. Men fell and horses collapsed. They were utterly defeated. Next, under Lu Wuxin, Dong Luzi's and the rest's command, hundreds more of Li Yuan's family warriors rushed out from the buildings at the side. They carried lances, charging at Lord Chunchen's frightened family warriors in waves. Even though the enemy had twice the number of men as they had, they were without a head. Their morale was low, and all dispersed and fled in the face of the assault. Lu Wuxin and the rest pressed home the advantage and attacked towards Lord Chunchen's residence. They had been given strict orders not to massacre women and children, and also those who surrendered. This moment, the Yelang King's mansion was ablaze with flames reaching to the sky. Billows of thick smoke rose up into the clear night sky. Of the 10 buildings, 4 were on fire. The ear-splitting cry of murder sounded unceasingly. The battle at the Dian King's mansion had ended a short while ago. The attackers were Li Ling's 100+ followers. They had climbed the high walls on the left and right to get into the mansion. They had thought that they could gain an easy victory. How could they expect that arrows would fly in like rain from all 4 directions? Half of them were felled in the blink of an eye. The rest who had managed to enter the mansion ran straight into the elite soldiers led by Ji Yanran and Zhao Ji. They could not even escape with their lives, much less to kill and burn. Under Li Yanyan's orders, Du Gui secured the palace. The newly promoted inner-city official Lian Anting had also sealed off the inner city and set up inspection checkpoints on the streets. At the same time, he also safeguarded the foreign embassies and diplomats. Everything was orderly and tidy. Even though they did not participate directly in the struggle, they prevented other parties from interfering. The Yelang King's mansion was surrounded by Li Yuan and Xiang Shaolong's allied troops in a watertight encirclement. All who tried to come out were chased back in with powerful arrow shots. The allied soldiers all had a red sash on their helmets to distinguish themselves. Even though the inner city had been plunged into a wild and noisy battle, the outer city was completely undisturbed. Wu Zhan had also received orders from Li Yanyan not to get involved in the inner city affairs. Doji and his large army outside the city were cut off from all news from within the city. He even thought that the fire was from the Dian King's mansion that Li Ling's men had besieged. Lord Chunchen's gang of 3 were kept prisoner on separate horse carriages under the close watch of the guardians. Xiang Shaolong and Li Yuan, these 2 war comrades with a complicated relationship, stood shoulder to shoulder outside the Yelang King's mansion, observing the situation. The battle cry sounded. Close to 1,000 of Li Yuan's family warriors carrying shields split into 2 groups, forcing entrance into the front and rear gates of the Yelang King's mansion. An even more intense round of battle cries and killing sounds rose up. This round of battle concluded quickly. Teng Yi's imposing body appeared at the mansion gate. At his back, Wu Guang and the rest led a bound man out. They came straight towards Xiang Shaolong and Li Yuan and pushed the bound man to the ground. Wu Guang rushed forwards in big strides and grabbing his hair, raised his face while forcing him to kneel. Under the light of the torches, they could see that even though the man's expression was now twisted, his facial features were actually well proportioned, sanctimonious and dignified. Who would have known that in reality, from the time he was young, he had never been a good person? Li Yuan's 2 eyes gleamed and he chortled saying, "Li Ling old chap, how have you been?" Pang! Li Yuan kicked him in the lower abdomen, causing so much pain that he curled up. Xiang Shaolong was worried that Li Yuan would beat him to death right there and hollered, "Tie him up and put him into a carriage. We shall return to the Dian King's mansion." Teng Yi came to his side and said, "These Yelang people and Li Ling's Dian soldiers are all good for nothing. There was hardly any special defensive arrangements in the mansion. They could not even resist our crossbow and fire arrow attacks for a short while. Only 10 of our men sustained light injuries. Xiang Xiaolong mused that these elite soldiers of his were as good as 21st century special forces. They had all been trained in his modern methods and were best able to demonstrate their efficiency and power in city warfare. The Yelang King and Li Ling's men underestimated the enemy and did not prepare for defense. Moreover, they had come from afar and had yet to have a proper rest. How could they present any real opposition with their tired men and horses? This demonstrates the critical factors: heavenly timing, favorable location, and ready people needed for one to achieve victory in battle. This moment, Li Yuan walked over and patted both men's shoulders, saying, "This business tonight, Li Yuan will engrave deep within my heart. No matter what happens between Qin and Chu in the future, I will still be a friend to the both of you." Xiang Xiaolong replied, "It is unlikely that I and brother Li will meet in the field of battle. Moreover, I intend to retire in seclusion at the earliest opportunity. Brother Li does not have to worry." Li Yuan was stupefied and wanted to question further when Lu Wuxin and a group of family warriors approached riding fast. They called out, "We can't find Tiandan. It is said that he left Shaochun this morning. We need to interrogate Lord Chunshen on this." Xiang Xiaolong and Teng Yi exchanged a glance. Even though they had known that the outcome was likely to be thus, they nonetheless couldn't help but be disappointed. Li Yuan opined, "Dan Chu and the rest have yet to arrive. He should not have returned to Qi. It is nonetheless hard to say." Lu Wuxin suggested, "The inner city is under control. It is now time to round up the clique of traitors." As Li Yuan was about to agree, he was dragged aside by Xiang Xiaolong, who earnestly requested, "Can brother Li limit his reprisal to Lord Chunshen and his few collaborators? From the beginning, taking revenge to settle a grudge has never been the best solution." Li Yuan dithered for a while before nodding and said, "If I can't even do such a simple thing, how can I repay brother Xiang's grace? We'll do it brother Xiang's way." He instructed Lu Wuxin, "Help me inform all the high-ranking military officers in the inner city." This incident was the result of the three men Lord Chunshen, Li Chuan, and Cheng Suning's rebellion. Besides these three men's direct male relatives, all the women may return to their mothers' houses. Servants and maids may be placed under alternative employ. Lu Wuxin was extremely startled and displayed a puzzled look. He only proceeded to execute the order after a long pause. The fire at the Yelang King's mansion had been extinguished. The inner city had been restored to peacefulness and tranquility. Only the sound of marching troops reminded the people in the city of the issue at hand. "Pala!" Madame Zhuang raised her hand and twice slapped the Li Ling who was kneeling on the street, pointing her finger and berating him. Li Ling knew that his power was gone, and remained silent in his disappointment. He looked like a defeated rooster. Yu Kui and Yu Ning rushed forward with faces full of hot tears and joined Madame Zhuang in the abuse. Zhuang Kong and the rest also cried tears of excitement when they saw that the villain had been captured and that their little prince's restoration was at hand. The impossible had become reality. Shan Rou had arrived earlier and was with Ji Yanran and Zhao Ji in an extremely warm-hearted embrace. Seeing Xiang Xiaolong's return, they dragged him into the inner hall to chat. Lord Chunshen's gang of three were imprisoned separately awaiting action. After sitting down in the inner hall, Shan Rou blissfully said to Xiang Xiaolong, "At least you have a bit of conscience. In the end you were willing to come and deal with the big villain Tiandan." Xiang Xiaolong replied, "How did you end up in Lord Chunshen's residence?" Zhao Ji delightedly replied on her behalf, "Sister Rou has always been pursuing Tiandan. She guessed that he would need to pass through Shaochun on the way back to Qi from Xianyang. She also knew that he and Lord Chunshen were collaborators, so she sold herself as a servant girl and came to Lord Chunshen's residence." Xiang Xiaolong said in puzzlement, "Where has Tiandan disappeared off to?" Shan Rou replied, "He is going to meet up with Dan Chu. It has been reported that he is on a boat on the Huai River heading east. I was just fretting at how to handle this matter. Thankfully you have arrived." Teng Yi entered and said, "We have discovered Tiandan's whereabouts. He left the city secretly this morning. He is on a boat to Chengyang to meet up with Dan Chu's battered army. He will take at least a fortnight to reach Qi. We have enough time to prepare. At this point, Wu Guang stuck his big head out from behind Teng Yi's shoulder and announced, "The Empress Dowager is in the outer hall awaiting Master Xiang." Li Yunyan's face was covered by a heavy veil. She was covered in a maroon cloak and was standing and looking at the bright moon in the night sky outside the window. It was hard to determine her intentions. The royal guard Captain Du Gui and the 100+ guards had been ordered to remain outside the room. Xiang Xiaolong knew that she was filled with conflicting emotions and did not disturb her. He stood quietly at one side. At this moment, Jing Shan and the rest dragged the two men Li Ling and Li Chuan into the hall and forced them to kneel on the ground. As Li Chuan saw Li Yunyan, he thought she here to save him and wailing, he said, "Empress Dowager, please arbitrate on the old official's behalf." Li Yunyan coldly shouted, "Shut up." Li Chuan wanted to speak further, but was boxed in the mouth by Wu Shu. Two incisors broke immediately and he was rendered speechless. Li Yunyan softly said, "Besides General Wan, everyone else please withdraw." Jing Shan and the rest looked at Xiang Xiaolong and saw him make the hand signal for them to obey. They then let go of the two men and went outside the hall. Li Yunyan's plaintive voice arose like a dream, saying, "Do you two remember the incident 5 years ago?" Li Chuan and Li Ling exchanged a look, both showing fear and surprise. Li Yunyan slowly turned her body and uncovered her veil, exposing her magnificent and elegant face. Her eyes were nonetheless cold as ice, shooting forth a piercing hatred. Li Chuan lisped through his blood-filled mouth and softly said, "Yunyan, don't forget that I am your uncle. I have always loved you dearly." Li Yunyan shook her head and said, "It is precisely because one is my uncle and one is my cousin that all my life I can't forget your beastly conduct. If it was an outsider, I might have been able to endure it. I leveraged my own body just for this day. Li Chuan, get Yura here." Li Chuan was terror-stricken and repeatedly kowtowed and said, "Empress Dowager, please spare my life." With a pay sound, Li Ling spat a glob of spittle, and said in contempt, "What Empress Dowager, you were even ridden by me, Li Ling." Pang! Xiang Xiaolong's leg flew out and hit him square in the face. Li Ling fell face up on the ground and could not speak any more. Li Yunyan flashed Xiang Xiaolong a grateful look and slowly walked over to Li Chuan. Li Chuan knew something was wrong and looked up in shock. Li Yunyan raised her sleeve, exposing her powdered and tender arm with a gleaming sharp poisoned dagger. Quick as lightning, she thrust the dagger into Li Quan's stomach. Li Chuan gave a miserable scream and fell to the ground dead along with the dagger. Li Yunyan turned around and threw herself into Xiang Xiaolong's bosom. She panted rapidly but did not let out any tears. When she had calmed down a little, Li Yunyan left Xiang Xiaolong's embrace and requested, "Can you kill Li Ling for me?" Xiang Xiaolong forced a smile and said, "I am not used to killing people who are defenseless. Allow me to find someone else to do it, okay?" Li Yunyan looked at him deeply, hanged her head and said, "You are truly a good man. All right." She then returned to the window and turned her beautiful back towards him. Xiang Xiaolong gave the Li Ling who was groaning on the ground a look and thought, this person had committed all sorts of evil deeds, certainly death was too good for him. He opened the door and was about to call for people when Li Yuan and Madame Zhuang arrived together. Xiang Xiaolong did not wish to let them know that Li Yunyan killed Li Chuan herself, and so whispered, "Empress Dowager is in a bad mood. Let us not disturb her. Li Chuan is gone. I'll leave Li Ling to you guys." Li Yunyan appeared behind Xiang Xiaolong with her phoenix coronet and veil replaced and firmly said, "No, I want to see him executed with my own eyes." When Xiang Xiaolong returned to the inner residence, it was just past the 4th night watch. Ji Yanran, Zhao Ji, and Shan Ro were all in high spirits relating all the happenings to each other. Shan Ro had removed her disguise and returned to her regular appearance. Xiang Xiaolong felt like he had moved from one universe to another, leaving behind the vengeful struggle that he had loathed but could not avoid, and arriving in this gentle and sweet little world of his. What he sought after here was not carnal satisfaction, but spiritual peace and quiet. His needs were especially pronounced after the night of blood and gore. His mind and body were both exhausted. This was the price of survival and protecting his loved ones after all. The three ladies' eyes flitted over to him in unison. Shan-ro still looks like she is dissatisfied with something. She squinted at him with her intelligent eyes and leaned on him, her appearance as mesmerizing as ever. Xiang Xiaolong sat beside Shan-ro. Before he could say a word, Shan-ro raised a finger and pressed it on his lips, solemnly saying, "Don't ask me about what has happened. If you wish to know, please ask the two of them. I will not repeat what I have just said again." The feeling of familiar warmth and comradeship welled up in Xiang Xiaolong. He laughed without speaking. Shan-ro removed her finger and suddenly kissed him on the lips before smiling enchantingly, saying, "I have really missed you. I think of you at least once a month." After teasing Xiang Xiaolong, she giggled together with Zhao Ji. Ji Yanran gently asked, "How is the situation outside?" Xiang Xiaolong replied, "We are just waiting for Doji to report to the royal court tomorrow. Li Yuan has sent a man that Doji trusts to tell him that Li Yuan and I have been killed by Lord Chun Shen. We hope to swindle him into entering the city without precautions." Ji Yanran elucidated, "It is difficult for Doji to clap with only one hand. What can he accomplish? How could the king's city be so easily breached? His subordinates would not have been willing to follow him in staking their lives and families in this one risky gamble. All of them have clansmen or relatives living in the inner city." Xiang Xiaolong lay down on her mat and sighed, saying, "So comfortable." Zhao Ji said, "Night has fallen. Hubby should take a bath and rest. Let Sister Ro accompany you tonight." Shan-ro was greatly embarrassed and jumped up saying, "Who does he think he is? Who said anything about accompanying him?" Xiang Xiaolong's childish spirit was provoked and exerted himself to get up, saying, "Do you think you are calling the shots?" Shan-ro gave a shriek and ran into the inner hall. Xiang Xiaolong had just shut his eyes for a while before he had to leave the Shan-ro whose body had bewitched him upside down the last night. He hurried along with Madame Zhuang and Zhuang Beiyi to attend the morning court session. Li Yuan was wearing his court dress and was waiting for them outside the palace gate under the protection of a large group of bodyguards. After the customary greetings, Li Yuan allowed Madame Zhuang and her son to proceed first before riding in with Xiang Xiaolong. He said excitedly, "Doji fell into our trap." The moment he entered the city, he was seized by Wu Zhan. Wu Zhan has now assumed command of the External Defense Army and has left the city to receive the troops. They did not have many words before they reached the entrance of the main palace hall. The four of them entered together. The three conspirators Lord Chun Shen, Doji, and Cheng Suning were trussed up together and kneeling at the feet of Li Yunyan, who was sitting high on the imperial dais. Most of the officials present had attended the last night's banquet and therefore knew of Lord Chun Shen's intent to kill Li Yuan and Wan Ruguang. They also knew that Xiao Chun was now under the control of Li Yuan. Who would dare to plead on behalf of the three of them? Li Yunyan had the three men's charges read to them. Lord Chun Shen was not only guilty of attempting to murder the imperial uncle and remaining members of the Zhuang family, he was also guilty of inciting his son Huang Hu to lead men in an attack on Su Xian. When this matter was revealed, it caused an uproar. Doji was guilty of moving army troops without approval and with the intent of revolt. Cheng Suning was guilty of being an accomplice. Immediately after the charges had been read, all three men were led out of the hall and beheaded. Following that, Li Yunyan proclaimed Li Yuan as the right premier and also announced a few more appointment changes. Finally, she reaffirmed Zhuang Beiyi as the Dian crown prince and ordered troops to be sent to assist the mother and son to restore their country. After the court was dismissed, Li Yunyan summoned Madame Zhuang and her son. Li Yuan was extremely busy himself. Xiang Xiaolong was completely idle from head to toe and took the opportunity to take an incognito tour with the three ladies Ji Yanran, Zhao Ji, and Shan Ro, feasting their eyes on Xiao Chun's famously beautiful scenery. Teng Yi left to prepare their offensive against Tiandan. At dusk, the four of them finally returned to the mansion after having had their fun. The moment they stepped into the mansion, they knew something was wrong. Li Yuan, Lord Longyang, and Han Chuang had all arrived. They all had serious expressions, looking as if they were facing imminent calamity. An intensely ominous feeling well up in Xiang Xiaolong, and he asked somberly, "Has Su Xian met with a mishap?" Li Yuan nodded and replied, "Not only has Su Xian met with a mishap, it turns out that Tiandan has fooled even Lord Chun Shen. He is secretly returning to Qi via a land route." Lord Longyang said, he was afraid of getting embroiled in this latest massacre and therefore slipped away before anyone else. Shan Ro bellowed out, "Pursue quickly. I know how to intercept him." Xiang Xiaolong collapsed down on his mat in extreme disappointment. Thinking about Su Xian's indomitable character and his cheerful appearance, he could not help but shed tears. Unexpectedly they had been dealt another blow by Liu Bue. The hard-fought balance of power in Xianyang had been destroyed all at once.